All right, hi everyone. Welcome to today's sales webinar. Pleasure to have you all here. A nice big list of attendees. We're ready to go here in a minute. I just want to confirm everything is working. You guys can hear me loud and clear on my end. Just leave a question in the question box or just a shout out in the question box there. If you can see my mouse moving around on the screen here and you can hear me loud and clear. Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, good to go. Thanks, Patty. Yeah, all good to go. Thanks, Jed. All right. So let's get started. Fantastic. So time's 11 o'clock here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome everyone to today's sales webinar. If you joined us last week, you'll know that we had a real kick-ass webinar last week, all involving Yext. Check it out in our resource center to recap if you didn't get a chance to check that out. But yeah, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rylan Morris. I'm the manager of sales marketing here at Vendasta. A couple ways you can get a hold of me. And I'm joined today by Peter. Peter, sales marketing specialist. How's it going, Peter?
Good, thank you. Good. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Good stuff. Before we get started, before we start talking about today's topic, I just want to shout out really quickly here where our webinars live. So if you ever want to register for our upcoming webinars, which I highly recommend checking out, go to vendasta.com/webinars. And definitely tomorrow, well, I'll just mention really quick. You probably know this already, but this time every single week, Wednesday, we have our sales webinar. So you can register for that week after week and join us. We'd love to see you here next week as well. But I'll also mention every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, we have our product webinars. And these are super valuable, especially because we've been introducing so many new products into our marketplace. It's a really awesome place to check out all the latest and greatest new updates to our recent products, anything new that we've added. So I'm actually really excited to announce that we have some really cool improvements coming to Visual Visitor, which is one of our top selling marketplace products. If you haven't checked it out already, basically it's caller ID for a website. So it works really well for any of your customers that are looking to track conversions on their website. Maybe you're selling to like a service area business, like a landscaper or a doctor's office or something. People who want to know like who's visiting their website and checking things out. Basically, it gives them that information of who is visiting their website. The update that's coming, I won't spoil too many beans, but basically it's going to be email tracking built right into Gmail and Outlook. So if you're looking for a solution that provides email tracking, I know internally here we use a couple of different solutions, Yesware being one of them. If you already have an active Visual Visitor product, this is going to be available to you right away. So definitely check that out and join the webinar tomorrow. So just head to vendasta.com/webinars. So I'm going to let Peter here take it away here on today's webinar topic, why agencies need campaigns. So yeah, take it away, Peter. Why do agencies need campaigns?
Okay, so basically the first thing we are going to go over is what are campaigns. So they're also known as marketing automation sometimes, and you may have seen a whole jumble of diagrams and graphs and terms, but basically campaigns, their purpose are to deliver more relevant and timely value to an audience at scale with better personalization. And for example, that would mean an email that's speaking directly to where the recipient is in the customer journey rather than some generic email. So something that really targets where they are, whether they're just new to the platform or if they've been a customer for quite some time. So what we do know is 70% of marketers are either unhappy or marginally happy with their campaign software, and 6 out of 10 marketers cite poor, inconsistent data quality or lack of data as the biggest challenge to producing personalized campaigns. And 44% of dissatisfied users say the software takes too long to implement, is difficult to learn, and is expensive. So the struggle is quite real for a lot of marketers, and with 70% of them being unhappy or marginally unhappy, we kind of worked to fix some of those or address those by having our marketing software and our solution be built into the platform, so there's not any extra costs to our partners. And with the integration, it's integrated into our CRM, and it's going to give you data on whether those campaigns are working and which emails in your campaign are performing the best. And it's quite easy to use. So we've really worked to make those a lot more smooth. And so part of the advantage.
There we go.
Part of the Vendasta advantage is the campaigns that we have built in there. And the three types of campaigns we have acquisition campaigns, adopt, and upsell campaigns. So the first one, acquisition campaigns, those are to really pinpoint businesses that are ready to buy. You can send them out to a bunch of different prospects, and you'll find out when those people look at that email, and then you can contact them as close as possible to the moment they open that email. And you're able to manage your pipelines more effectively and improve the sales efficiency. And so that's going to allow you to get back to those prospects and see even what they're most interested in to provide pertinent solutions to them. The next is adopt campaigns. And these help increase the number of active users. So these are really for people that have just got into the platform. And if you have do-it-yourself clients, kind of how to use the product email campaign is going to be very useful. But if you have clients that are do it for me, you can use this opportunity to thank them and kind of things to look for in what is going to be done in the next coming weeks. And then upsell, these are for your clients that have been your clients for a little bit longer, and you're kind of looking for some new opportunities to offer some new solutions, explain why these new solutions are a good fit for them, or why they're important to look at these different areas that they may not have considered. So those three really help to make the ideal campaign, depending on which one you're using, and that works with using our actual business data, targeted campaigns. You're going to have that continuous marketing and real-time tracking. So that works with those other points with our CRM and being able to see how those emails are performing.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Peter. Yeah, hopefully all of you guys are running campaigns right now. If you haven't already, it's actually really easy to implement to add more campaigns to start using Vendasta's campaigns. You might be using like an existing campaign solution if you're using like Pardot or MailChimp. Something just like blast your customers with some relevant content. If you're already a Vendasta partner, might as well just sign up and use our own campaign system because it's built right into your platform subscription. There's no additional fee to run campaigns. I know this is a big point that we want to push. We want to make sure that you understand you don't have to pay for additional emails. You can just send emails right from our platform. So as many prospects or clients as you want. And we're not going to charge you for them. We only really charge you for that relevant content, which is that snapshot report. So that's $2 per report for most partners. If you're using that, then it is going to be $2 for any time you send a campaign email with a new snapshot report. But otherwise, let's just talk a little bit how to implement campaigns at your agency, because you obviously are dealing with different people at your company. You're probably representing the marketing division or maybe the CEO of your agency, and you've joined today's webinar. You just want to know, like, who do I talk to at my agency to really get the gears rolling, to really make things working, and make sure that we're implementing a strong campaign strategy. And happy to say it's this easy, right? We have this is a little like funny comic from the previous webinar we used, but It just says here, and that in a nutshell is how our marketing automation plan is our marketing automation plan. Any questions? Doesn't have to be this complicated with Vendasta, especially because a lot of the content is pre-made. A lot of it is just a flip of a switch, adding clients to a list and building out and flying off that campaign, just shooting out that campaign email, getting that started. So it's really straightforward. But when you're talking with different people at your agency, you want to make sure you're giving them the right message, how this is going to be valuable to them, and how you're going to implement this. So, of course, what's needed, I just mentioned this, smarter, faster systems and strategies. You can start thinking about your key stakeholders. What does each of them need to make their jobs better? And your agency might look a little like this, or might be structured kind of similarly. Maybe you, like I mentioned, are the marketing manager or a sales manager, and that's why you're on today's webinar. Or maybe you have a marketing manager that you want to introduce the idea of using Vendasta's campaign system to them. Or maybe you're a sales manager and you're just looking to kind of increase the amount of engagement that your sales reps have with their prospects. Of course, if you have a sales manager, you're going to have sales reps as well, or maybe you have at least one salesperson. You know, what's the value for that salesperson? Why should they care about campaigns? And then, of course, your clients, the business owner on the far right there, the person that you're trying to sell to or upsell or get to adopt your platform, they're going to find your campaign super valuable if you're sending them targeted information about their business, things that really are hyper relevant to what they're looking for. So let's talk a little bit about Miranda, marketing manager here, just the persona that we have. What does a marketing manager want? They need personalized, relevant content that doesn't cost an arm and a leg to produce. And I have another slide here in a bit that I'm going to show you. It can be really expensive. You know, it may not be totally obvious to you, but to go out and find new content to produce and to develop something for your website, maybe you're making a blog post or whatever it is, that can be really expensive just because you're paying someone at your agency to develop that content. And maybe it takes them, you know, 3 or 4 hours to develop a piece of content, and you know maybe it's not perfect. It's come back for edits and whatnot. It's taking a while for you to get it out in the open. They just need content. If you're a marketing manager, that's really flip of a switch. You can turn it on, and it's branded for your agency. That's something that we have here at Vendasta. Easy implementation, right? Works right out of the box, just like we mentioned. So something that is going to work immediately. It's proven, tried, tested, and true. And again, it doesn't require a lot of manpower in order for you to actually get it working properly. And of course, we have this as well. Analytics and easy to understand ROI. Campaigns are all tracked within our platform, just like you'd experience in MailChimp or Pardot. You get those analytics, you can actually see what content's performing, which campaigns you should be sending more of, what salespeople are using, which campaigns are being used by which salespeople. So you get that information and you can really hone in and refine that strategy without a whole lot of effort. So these are just some points that you may want to bring to Miranda, your marketing manager, just to really drive home the point at why it's important to start using campaigns. Bob here, the sales manager, has a different set of needs. So what does a sales manager look for on a day-to-day basis, and how can campaigns be of use to him? So Bob is really looking for data to hold his salespeople accountable. He wants to make sure that his salespeople are checking all the boxes, doing all the right things, following up with the right customers. And if they're not, he wants to be able to approach them and tell them, hey, you know what? You're not doing these things. You're not doing these steps. And maybe that's what's attributing to your poor performance as a salesperson. That ties into the next point here: best sales practices and pipeline management with robust analytics. What's really awesome about Sales and Success Center, our sales CRM at Vendasta, we just recently released that whole new pipeline management system. Campaigns can tie really nicely into that. As you're sending out, your salespeople are sending out campaigns, and they're tracking their opportunities from what step of the or which campaign emails their prospects are actually opening. Bob here can go in and track that pipeline as well and make sure that it's fully managed. We use it, actually, what's interesting is we do this completely in-house as well. Our own sales team uses the sales opportunity pipeline, campaigns, the exact same solutions that you can use with the Vendasta subscription, and it works awesome for us. Our sales manager, Doug here, goes through with our sales team each and every week on Friday over sales training, their opportunity pipeline, and talks about like where we're at as far as where we're how close we are to our target for the month and for the week. And the big point too that Bob's looking for is he wants to know that, or under his sales team to know that they, as soon as they complete a sale, it doesn't stop right there. There's always an opportunity to sell more products and services to any existing customers. So that's when it comes to that last point here, marketing after the sale to grow that share of wallet. They want to expand that bucket. They want to expand the amount of products and services that their clients are currently purchasing from that sales rep. And that's where campaigns can actually automate a lot of those processes. You can put an existing prospect on an upsell campaign and get them excited about other products and services that they can purchase from your agency. So just a couple of different points here that you can talk to Bob about. Sales reps points are, Vern here, he's, the sales rep, he works for Bob here, and he probably has a very, very similar, use case for campaigns as Bob does. The big thing is he constantly wants to be in contact with his prospects. One thing that we try to do here at Vendasta as well is we try to always have our partners, our prospects on some sort of email drip campaign. So they're continually getting some really good content. Of course, we use our own system for that, and we track it all in our dashboard as well. And I'll actually mention here really something that happened recently. Since you're all on today's webinar, if you were on last week's webinar, you may have been receiving some drip emails from your sales rep or from your partner success manager inviting you to that next webinar. And we actually just sent out three emails for a drip campaign. It was really short and sweet. They kind of came one right back to back, one day after the other. And it really exploded. It really transformed the amount of people that attended the webinar. So I can tell you firsthand, it works based on just some of our engagement that we've had with some of our webinars. There's another point here. Responding to leads within 5 minutes equals to a 900% increase in conversion. So you want to make it a part of the culture. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute here. But your sales team should be, as soon as they get a hot lead notification, as soon as something lights up in their sales and success center, the quicker they can follow up with that, the higher the amount of conversion, the percentage is going to be way, way higher than if they wait longer than 5 minutes. So our campaigns allow Vern here to go ahead and follow up as quick as possible whenever, and he knows whenever the prospect is interacting with that content. So let's talk a little bit about your prospect as well. Sally, the business owner, your client. So maybe Sally is a prospect, maybe you haven't sold them anything yet, or maybe she's already bought something from your agency and you want to sell them more products and services. But really, what does she want? She's looking for prescriptive content, relevant prescriptive content. There's a really interesting book that was written by, oh man, I totally forget his name, but it's called The Purple Cow. Look it up. I actually listened to the audiobook a couple weekends ago. Really awesome book. It talks about how in a sea of cows, of normal looking cows, the purple cow really does stick out. So if you were to look, driving on the highway and you were to look at and see out the window, just a pasture with a bunch of cows in it, if there was a purple cow, you're going to notice that purple cow and you're going to be talking about that purple cow and thinking about that purple cow down the road because it's really out of the ordinary. It's really unusual. And we like to think that the content that our system can produce, like snapshot report, a lot of the super targeted specific emails that you can create using our system, that is a purple cow. In Sally's inbox, in her email inbox, she might be looking at content that was, just sent out by a bunch of different companies. Nothing is very specific to her. It just is sort of maybe, quote unquote spam email. Personally, I get an email from Best Buy every single day of the week, and it just talks about like all the deals that they have going on that day. And it's nothing really super, super specific to what my needs are. Best Buy were sending me content. It's like, hey, you know what? We know you've purchased from us X, Y, and Z products. You're a huge Apple fanboy. You really like Apple products. Maybe we're going to send you some content that's specifically geared towards what you don't have already or what you need from us, and what you can do to kind of improve your experience with the technology that we have to offer. And we feel that the snapshot report really does a good job of that. The content that you send off, you're sending something that's very, very hyper-specific and relevant to the business owner. It's also educational, right? It tells them what problems they're facing, even if they didn't know that they had these problems in the first place. And you're letting them know that you can help them with this kind of stuff. The other kind of points here too, more tie into the adoption part of the campaigns that you can send. So if your clients are already buying stuff from you, you want to make sure that you're keeping in contact with them, that you're not just selling them something and then kind of leaving them in the cold, or they might feel that way if you're not in constant contact with them. I really recommend setting up adoption campaigns for any time that you sell a product or a service to a business owner that are just like, one right after the other, day one, day two, day three campaigns that just remind them, hey, you know what? Thank you so much for your business. Let's talk about how you can jump into the software and actually use this product that you purchased from me. Or if it's a service, hey, you know what? Keep in touch. Here's some information about the social posts that you'll be receiving, or here's some information about some of the content that you'll start seeing on your website, whatever the service is that they purchased from your agency. So I talked about this before, but here we are back at Vern here. So he's a sales rep at your company, and it's important that Vern and his entire team that he works with, he knows that he needs to follow up with these campaign emails as quickly as possible. So I think that one of the quickest way you can get your agency to adopt using campaign systems is to create this culture of following up with hot leads within 5 minutes. And you can bring up that stat again, 900% chance increase in closing if you follow up with a lead, or 900% higher chance of increase in closing if you follow up with that lead within 5 minutes. Of course, our campaign system too works really, really well because it is super, super targeted. So Vern there is going to see a lot of hot leads in his inbox. For those of you who have used our campaign system, you know this firsthand. If you're sending out campaign emails to businesses that you've already maybe touched base with in the past, who recognize that salesperson, who recognize your brand as an agency, you're going to see some really high open and click-through rates because, again, super targeted information with a brand that's recognized within their market. So we have our snapshot campaign email specifically have an open rate of over 50%, which is unheard of. You can see the industry average there of only 15.5%. And then once that email is opened, actually having your clients or prospects click through that snapshot report, 29% click-through rate. Really, really awesome, really exciting. So when you're looking for introducing marketing automation software or campaign software, you're going to see a lot of maybe the systems you're using right now, even if you're using MailChimp or Pardot or whatever it is, kind of like the usual suspect stuff up the top there, common sort of features, lead source management, lead scoring, email systems. What really sets Vendasta apart is, and what is hard to find, is the points that you see below there. So automated personal content, easy onboarding with an adoption campaign, and you're really closing that gap that might happen between your marketing team and your sales team, because you can have your marketing team create these campaigns, find the content right within our system, not spend a lot of time setting up a list to prospect to, and then email directly from that salesperson's account so they can engage with the hot lead notifications. And I talked about this before too, but I want to just dive a little bit deeper into it. So content is king. It needs to be relevant, timely, valuable, personalized. We all know this. And our system allows you to find that content almost instantly, and it works seamlessly with your existing setup. So of course, I talked about the snapshot report, but we also have recommended campaigns in each of those different categories: acquisition, adopt, and upsell. And I can show you here in a minute where you can find those. But basically, you can take those campaigns, they're ready to go right out of the box, turn them on, put a list of customers on them, and then you're ready to go. And you're already sending campaigns in a couple of clicks. And just to outline, I talked about I was going to go through and show you how expensive it can be to find new content. You can see on the right-hand side just a breakdown of how much it might cost you just to find someone to do this kind of strategy and planning, to get them to hire a copywriter, a designer, an email tester, whatever. This could take a long time to, image licensing. If you're adding images to your campaign, you better make sure that they're, from a source that's you're licensing the images from, or they're your own images that you've created, which can be really, really expensive. So, for something that you don't even really know what the opportunity is, you don't actually know how much, revenue you're going to generate from a specific campaign, that's a big upfront investment. And with Vendasta, you have those recommended campaigns. You can, cover basically all of this for free with your Vendasta subscription without having to pay anyone to do that work for you. So time content automation. Our system allows you to create personalized content automatically. When the customer interacts with that content, the assigned salesperson is going to receive an alert, a hot lead notification, and that's when that sales rep follows up with that hot lead. And this, rinse and repeat. This system, those 4 steps, once you have it all set up and running, works amazingly. We have a really awesome case study, if you've checked it out already, with a Modesto Bee. I can actually send you the link here after the webinar, but This is a traditional media company. They're a newspaper company. They sell print ads. They had a list of 730 prospects, and of those, 359 became hot leads. There's a 49% click-through rate, which translated into 50% lead conversion and over $57,000 in new monthly recurring revenue, which is absolutely fantastic. So, it absolutely works. If you have all the gears in motion and you're getting your reps to follow up within that 5-minute period, you can generate some really serious revenue with the campaign system. Great. So that brings us to the question period. So I'm just going to see if there's any questions in the drop down here. Looks like we might have a couple. Seth Godin, that's his name. So the author of The Purple Cow is Seth Godin, and I highly recommend listening to the audiobook. Actually, I downloaded it from iBooks a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's only like $8 or something, so it's pretty inexpensive. There's this really cool chapter about how, basically it just talks about how it's riskier in marketing to do the same thing everyone else is doing. Like if you're going to market with a new product, it's riskier to come up with a new product that's very similar and very status quo to existing products on the market than to do something totally out of the ordinary. So we talked a little bit about there's this office chair company. They were building office chairs, and back in the day, office chairs were very, very similar to each other. If you're building an office chair, generally speaking, it had rolly wheels, it had armrests, and it was kind of the same. It was ergonomic. This one company made a $600 office chair, which was really out of the ordinary. It was the turbo deluxe version of an office chair, and it made the cover of Time magazine because it was so out of the ordinary. It was that Purple Cow. So it's riskier as a company to do the same thing as everyone else than it is to stay the same, do something very, very similar than to do something out of the ordinary. But yeah, any questions, guys? Thanks, Mike. By the way, thanks, Michael. I appreciate that little letting me know who the author was again. Just slipped my mind. Very famous marketer. I don't know how I forgot about that. Okay, great. Well, if there's no questions here on the webinar, just let you type in anything here. I can quickly go through. I just really want to highlight where you can find campaigns. And just give me 1 second here. I'm just going to bring this up really quick. Just having some issues with my screen. Here's the Modesto Bee case study, lo and behold. If you've been on our website, definitely check this out, Modesto Bee case study. But yeah, I'm just going to show you where you can find a lot of that pre-made campaign content. If it's not something you're doing already, definitely check it out. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just logging into the software here. But yeah, if you haven't ran campaigns too, just to do a little shout out in the question box there, and I'll make sure your partner success manager follows up with you just so you can get that started. But here I am in Partner Center. I'll make the screen a little bit bigger for you so you can see things. Fantastic. So on the left-hand side of Partner Center, you'll notice we have this marketing tab. And I'm going to go to product adoption. We'll just check out what our product adoption campaigns are. Then recommended campaigns. You'll see the sub-tab at the top here. If we click on that, you'll notice that you have a couple of different recommended product adoption campaigns to get started. We're actively adding more adoption campaigns here. But basically the idea is if you're selling, here is reputation management. If your agency is selling a reputation management product, you can go ahead and take this campaign. And as soon as you sell that product, you can get your clients on this new campaign, which is just like, now you're in control of your reputation. Here's some things you can do, explore the features, jump in. Thank you for your purchase. Again, ready to go right out of the box. And these look absolutely fantastic. There's even, I like this little timer thing at the bottom here. If you want to go in and start using the listings feature of reputation management, there's an estimated effort of 20 minutes in there. That's just encouraging someone to go in and use that. So definitely check that out. So again, under any of these campaigns here, customer acquisition, just check out the recommended campaigns. And to get started with any one of these, so if I want to start with this new 5-star campaign, just click add to my campaigns and I can add it to a list right away and start prospecting immediately. See who's interested, right? Test the market fit. Great, so I have a question here from Gregory. Thanks for joining today's webinar, Gregory. Where can I find more detailed information on the case study about the prospects to 500K in revenue. So it was over 50K in revenue per month. But I will send you that information. If you want to check out any of our content, it is available just in our content library. So vendasta.com/content library. And we have our case studies all right here. And here we are, Modesto B marketing automation. So here's the campaign one. I'll send that to you there. I'll just drop it in the chat window to everyone so you can all check it out. Yeah, no worries, Greg. Sorry, Gregory, I should say. I always call people by the short version of the name. I don't know if it's like the right thing to do. I was calling you as Mike and Greg. Sorry, Michael and Gregory, I should say. All right. Well, that's it from us. Thanks so much for joining today's webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your partner success manager. Yeah, and same time, same place next week. You guys can register for the sales webinar. And of course, again, just a reminder, vendasta.com/webinars. I highly recommend checking out tomorrow's product webinar just because we have that really exciting new feature with visual visitors, which is really going to enable your sales team, I think, to the ability to track emails. Really exciting. So check that out. And yeah, we'll take care. See you guys when next time here.